Talking about the Huawei P30 Pro with the quad camera system. Is it worth the hype? Matt Miller, the mobile gadgeteer, says yes, it definitely is. Matt, just talk about this flagship phone and how is it soaring to the top of the pack? What'd you like about it?
Yeah, so Huawei released this about a month ago, I guess, and it's not easy to get if you're in the U.S. actually. But I saw so many people talking about this phone and how great it was, and I've got some friends in the UK, so I decided to make the jump, and I bought one on eBay. And as you can see right here, this is a pretty beautiful device. This is the breathing crystal color. So it has kind of blue that transitions to white, and then it has reflects the light. It's really a gorgeous device. So I went ahead and bought the 8 GB, 256 gig storage device for about $1,000. Now, the Huawei P30 is available in the 850 to 950 range for people that want to import it and buy it. And you may want to take the leap if you're really into smartphones. This thing has, as you mentioned on the back, there are actually four cameras. One is a standard 20 megapixel camera. The other one is a super wide 40 megapixel camera. Then there's a telephoto camera, which we've seen on some other phones, usually in the 2 by optical. This one actually has 5 by optical, 8 megapixel. And then there's a fourth one that's called time of flight. And that really isn't used for capturing pictures. It's mainly used for advanced depth sensing, for doing portrait mode shots and those kind of things. And, we've seen wide angle, super wide, and telephoto cameras before on phones, but the real difference here, and you can't see it all in the video probably, but this camera right there is not round like many of the other cameras that we see on phones. It actually is square, and it uses a technology that Huawei created, periscope, right? So it uses mirrors, and if you look into it, it looks like the camera is deeper than even the phone. So that's the way they're able to capture the optical zoom and create something that would normally require a much thicker phone to get that kind of depth, right? And the 5 by optical is what they have by default. But if you zoom in further, it can go to a 10 by and then all the way up to a 50 by zoom. Now, 50x zoom, you're like, well, that's ridiculous, right? I've been doing some testing over the past week, and it's really hard to just hold the camera or the phone like this and capture at 50 by, because every little single movement is detected. But if you put it in a tripod, you can see things with this phone that your naked eye can't see. I was standing miles away, right? And I looked out and did this 50 by zoom, and I could read writing on an object far away. So it's pretty incredible camera, is all I got to say. And beyond the zoom and the other capabilities, we heard a lot about the Google Pixel 3 and the 3 XL having this night sight mode. And I don't know if you've seen samples of that, but when people take pictures of almost complete darkness, you can find and see the object come out with a Google. Well, Huawei went up to Google on this, and this one has a night mode as well, that most people on the internet, most of the reviewers are just calling it magic. They can't define or understand how it's happening, but this camera will capture things where there's no light.
Wow. And really, Matt, that these phones, the ability to take pictures and all of the features and the changes, I mean, it's really, it's almost like how much better can they get? Because truly, it is like, it's unbelievable how great these pictures can turn out, even just, for the everyday user.
Yeah, I was, last year Huawei had actually they have this one too. This is the P20 Pro, and they had three cameras on the back, and everybody was blown away. And you get to this point with what else is there left to do? And now they're capturing things that I wouldn't have imagined they could capture, and it's great too, because the software is pretty powerful. So even, a lot of people like an iPhone because they can pick it up, point, and shoot. And you can do that with a Huawei as well. And then it goes beyond and provides all of these advanced features for people who are serious about photography as well.
Yeah, just when we think that they can't improve on a device, they'll find a way to do so. So talk a little bit, Matt, about what you didn't like about the phone.
Let's see. So far, one thing you'll notice if you look around it, is it does not have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And I've given up that argument. Apple took that away a couple years ago. Most Android devices kept that in place. That is now gone. And so with that, you don't have the audio for headphones. However, there is the USB port that you can use for headphones, and there's Bluetooth. Now, one thing is you'll notice, maybe not notice, but on the front of this is nothing, right? We usually see, and last year we saw a fingerprint scanner on the bottom of the Huawei, and almost every other headset in the world has some kind of a speaker up top for your headset speaker when you're holding up and talking on the phone. LG released the LG G8 this year that has the same kind of idea with nothing on the front. The screen itself is used as the speaker for the headset. So when you're on a phone call, you actually just put your ear against the screen, and the screen vibrates to create the sound. And amazingly, for phone calls, the audio is very good. Now, being that there's no speaker there and it just uses the screen, if you were just to play music right now, it doesn't sound very good because there's only one speaker on the bottom, one single mono speaker. Whereas most of the flagships, especially in this price range, have stereo speakers. I don't know if you have the latest iPhone 10 or 10s, but those have stereo speakers and they sound great without having anything connected to them.
All right, so some things to consider there, Matt. And you also, I know you said a little something in your review there about how slippery it actually is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is.
Do not set this down on anything. I mean, even a completely flat surface like this, as you can see the back, I mean, it's all glass. It's beautiful. But if you set it down anywhere, it will fall off. Now, the good thing is Huawei does include a clear silicone case to put it in. And I've been using that all the time, even though I don't want to cover up things. I don't want it to fly off either, right? So.
All right, Matt. Well, the device certainly is gorgeous, so we hate to cover it up, but we do have to be realistic about how hard we can be on our devices at times. Well, thank you so much for this interesting perspective on the new Huawei devices. Be sure you check out ZDNet for more.